Hi, and welcome back to the 2020 Economic Depression and Preparation channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic, and that's, the tax revenues of these state, county, and local governments being slammed by the COVID-19 pandemic. According to US News and World Report.com, states collected 7.5% less in taxes from March to July, despite a sharp uptick from delayed filings. As you know, tax revenue declines are widespread, and this is nationwide. The states of Colorado, Georgia, Idaho, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Vermont were the only states out of the 50 states contiguous that reported steady tax revenue growth. So the financial health of our states continues to decline. That's a 7.5% less tax revenue in just 4 months. We're not counting the months of August, September, October, November yet. But I'm sure those months are declining everywhere. The state of New Jersey has added 3.5% extra onto their gas tax to make up for the shortfall in that Pacific area. The state of Florida has increased their hotel and tourism taxes. As you know, Orlando and Walt Disney World have suffered a shutdown of magnificent proportions. They were closed down for the last 2 to 3 months, and they're just now getting to 20 to 30% capacity, but it's never fully recovered yet. The numbers are based on the preliminary data from 40 states. The Institute said, quote, "If we look at the cumulative changes in the March through July period, state tax revenues remain depressed because of the impact of the pandemic, which has caused large disruptions in economic activity, left millions of Americans without employment, and forced many businesses to close either temporarily or permanently. As you know, 60% of businesses closed in San Francisco Bay Area permanently, small businesses that is. 50% of businesses on the East Coast, small businesses like restaurants, bars, gyms, have closed permanently. And that's not counting the major people that have bankrupted this nation in the downtown areas. A lot of American families are moving out of the downtown areas in Manhattan and New York and Bronx and Brooklyn and moving out to suburban areas past Westchester County out into upstate New York to escape high taxation and low stagnant wages compared to the cost of living in these big major cities. Declines were widespread, with 33 states reporting total tax revenue declines for this period. Half the states saw declines in personal income tax revenues, while 10 states reported growth. Corporate income tax revenues fell in 31 of the 50 states. That's over half of the 50 states, while they only rose in 7. Half of the states also reported drops in general sales tax revenues, while only 11 states saw growth. Now we come to a point where they've had the extensions of the $600 weekly unemployment and insurance benefit cut down, and those states that are offering the $300 weekly unemployment benefit have been cut down, will be cut down starting in December the 1st. So now we're in a situation where the tax change revenues have been dropping, and this is where the greatest percentage of tax change revenues have been dropping in the following states. These following states have experienced a tax change revenue decrease of more than 8%. Florida, Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Missouri, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, California, Alaska, and Oregon. The only states that have experienced no change in tax revenue drop has been Georgia, Colorado, Idaho, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, and Vermont, ironically. And now, aid to local and state governments, of course, is a key sticking point in negotiations over a second stimulus package on Capitol Hill. But both sides remain stalemated or deadlocked, as you know. And now President Trump wants an even bigger deal. He says, "I'll just find a way to get it done," he says, while he's from the hospital of the Walter Reed Medical Center as he continues to deal with his own sickness, supposedly, allegedly. We have no proof of that, ladies and gentlemen. But he offered his support for the $1.5 trillion plan that was unveiled on Tuesday. And of course, that would include another round of $1,200 stimulus checks to individual Americans, something that Republicans on the Hill have so far declined to support. So, in the next few months, We only have 2 more months left in the fourth quarter, and as we head into 2021, states must address unforeseen revenue shortfalls and sudden increases in spending needs. Many states have already closed their budget books for the fiscal year 2020, as you know, September 30th or June 30th in 46 states. Preliminary figures from 32 states indicate that the overall state revenues declined by 4.4% in fiscal year 2020 compared to fiscal year 2019. Most states are now even forecasting large revenue shortfalls for fiscal year 2021. So, ladies and gentlemen, things are not getting better. Remember, the government only gets money from the people through taxation and through goods and services. They do not create things. They do not produce things. And so we're going into a situation where they're going to go into a depression just like the American people are going to go into a depression. 2/3 of small businesses across this country are permanently shut. So there's no more business tax coming in. There's no more revenue. The dollars are not flowing as fast as they used to flow back in the heyday of the early 2000s when there was cheap, free money going to everybody. Once again, according to Yelp.com, almost 163,735 small businesses are forced to close permanently since the pandemic began March the 1st. We are going into the almost 9th or 10th month of this pandemic, and we have not seen a recovery at all in small to medium towns, even big cities. We have not seen a recovery, only more promises of help, more empty promises of printing more money, worthless paper money that is not going to solve the abandoned houses, the abandoned skyscrapers, the abandoned condos, the abandoned neighborhoods. Who is going to rebuild America? Will it be another country coming in and stepping in to being the superpower? Or will it be the ingenuity and the freedom and the hard willpower of the American people to rebuild their economy? But this is going to be pain. It's going to take 10 to 12 years for a lot of these cities to recover because their tax and the infrastructure is going to be going down as a result of the tax base going down. The quality of the schools is going to be going down. Even if they shift to a digital online schools, the quality of everything will be going down because they just don't have the money. We're into a black hole of money here. And so get prepared. Try to get as many supplies as you can while everything is still open. But when 2021 comes at the first quarter, it is going to be an absolute nightmare, especially if we go into another shutdown because of this so-called pandemic that we've been going through. So be prepared. Stay blessed, my friends. And I'll talk to you very soon. Have a great day.